Welcome to Happily Ever After, the podcast where we talk about life's big stories, from breakups and breakdowns to icky secrets and happy endings. It's the stuff that makes us human. I'm your host, Hannah Harvey. I'm a writer and a parenting blogger at mumsdays.com. I'd be really grateful if you could subscribe and leave a review because it basically means more people can find the podcast. And I also absolutely love hearing from you, so please do contact me through Instagram at mumsdays, MUMSDAYS, with any of your stories and any thoughts you might have on the episode or any questions. You can find all the details from this episode in the show notes. Hello and welcome to Happily Ever After. It's me, Hannah, and today I'm joined by Katie.
Hello, everybody.
And I say it like that because you're not feeling great, are you, Bab?
Oh, yeah, no. Got a few things going on.
So we want to talk about and take this opportunity to talk about self-esteem.
Yes, because I think I'm struggling with that a little bit at the minute.
And we've had like a bit of preamble discussion about this, and I relate hard, especially in like, because you're in the flow of post-breakup situation.
Yeah, so I think basically what happened at the end of my relationship was I was living with my partner, but he had decided that he was struggling a little bit with living with me. He wasn't too keen on it in the first place, so we decided to split up, and it's left me in a sort of fairly vulnerable place, I think, where like I am worried that I'm not good enough and my self-esteem is a bit low, and I think it's affecting me in other parts of my life as well. Which is why we thought we'd talk about it on the podcast today.
Definitely, because, yeah, some of the stuff that you've told me about, I'm like, yes, I definitely had that.
Yeah.
And I think one of the big ones that stuck out was that feeling that you're going to get told off.
Yeah.
And being afraid of doing something wrong.
Yeah.
In case you get caught out.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's funny. Self-esteem is a funny thing, actually, because, like, we think of it as something that's internal, but actually it's completely based on what we think other people think of us, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what can boost it. Of course you can boost it yourself as well, but that's what affects it. And that's why I think that mine's gone downhill after a breakup, because you worry that you're not good enough, you know? And then it can have knock-on effects in other areas as well.
For sure. So I think the big thing that came out of therapy for me was I was basically frozen in a place of fear. I couldn't move. I was completely boxed myself in. I didn't know what to do. And in order to get out, we had to look at, I'm trying to remember what he called it, but it was basically like what was the underlying theory that my brain had about myself.
Yeah.
And we had to, that was it. We had to move from theory A to theory B. But it's quite a bit of probing around and looking for evidence so you can actually say to your brain, no, look, I'm not shit. It's all right, look, I've done these things.
Yeah.
But it takes a bit of work and a bit of practice, and you need to establish what it is you think in the first place.
Yeah. Because, well, I mean, so you it starts in childhood, and you build your self-esteem based on like your childhood circumstances, and then if you get into the habit of negative self-talk and things like that, then it's really easy to just go back to that when something happens. I think. And so if your natural state is negative self-talk, then you're naturally going to have low self-esteem at moments like this, you know? And so you do have to teach yourself that other narrative so that you've got that to go to as well.
Yeah. But I think the main thing of getting out is you can't think your way out of it. Yeah. You have to act.
That's right, yeah.
So there's a great book called The Confidence Code. And the big takeaway I got from that is confidence comes from action.
Yeah.
Like you literally, you know, say coming to the podcast today, we can sit and be nervous as much as we want.
Yeah.
But like until we actually sit down and talk, we are never going to get past
the nervousness.
That nervousness, you just have to sit down and do it.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, back in like a year and a half ago, before I started the podcast and being like back online, I was just like, I couldn't even do an Instagram post.
Yeah.
It just felt too much. So I think when your self-esteem is that low, you have to strip everything back. Like there's loads of, all this kind of stuff online about thinking big and go big or go home, or, discipline. We're going to do this thing and we're going to force ourselves into the place. But when your self-esteem is on the floor, that kind of thinking just didn't work for me. No,
because you just think, you think of the bigger picture and you think, well, I'm never going to get there.
Yeah, I'm literally, if you'd said to me in June 2022 that we would be recording episode, what is this?
60 something?
70 something, right?
Yeah, it will be 70 something, yeah.
I would be like, you're having a fucking laugh. Yeah. And I would have just got back into bed and been like, there's no way I could do that.
Yeah, I know. So you almost have to just celebrate the little wins, I guess, until you're feeling in a better place.
And get started and just know that idea. Like, you don't have to come up with all 70 episodes in June 2022.
Yeah.
We've just come up with this now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, ideas come in time and you have to give them space.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you do. And also, like, if you're expecting yourself to write 70 episodes of a podcast, it isn't going to happen, is it? You just need to start with one and then build from there. Exactly.
And so that was one of the big takeaways. So my theory A in my brain was I'm not good enough, and there was something linked to, like, if anybody calls me out for being lazy, I'm giving away all the secrets here so you can, like, troll me.
Yep.
But that really, really upsets me. Like, I somewhere in me believe that I'm a inherently lazy person.
Yeah.
And I know that's not true. Like, yes, there are times when I need to rest and things like that, but for the most part, I'm always doing something.
Yeah.
But there is something in me that can't bear the idea that I come across as lazy.
Yeah. I've got that as well.
Why?
No, yeah. I think it might be like working class thing. Work ethic. Yeah, you need to work hard to make money, otherwise you're going to die. That sort of thing. Which is how the world works. Yeah, it is.
But like, not always.
No, but not always.
There's a huge movement towards like working smart and working part-time, but making sure it all counts.
Yeah. And it's not lazy if you're not doing something all the time,
Yeah. And the way my brain works is I need a lot of space in order to come and record 4 podcasts in a morning.
Yes.
And, come up with stuff. Like, I need that space, otherwise I just get frazzled. We all do.
Yeah.
Just get burnt out. So, to move from this theory of I'm not good enough, it's like, well, maybe I'm good enough to do one Instagram post.
Yeah.
And then from there, one podcast. There was an element of being, like, just chucking myself in the deep end once I decided I was ready. That was a mistake.
Yeah, that can be as well.
You throw yourself into something and being like, I am going to prove to everybody in the world that I am good enough, and then burn out.
Yeah.
Or mess it up.
Yeah. You put a lot of pressure on yourself, don't you? Because you think that's the only way out of it sometimes, but it's not. Like, you do just need to take it one step at a time.
I know that there's this feeling of wanting something tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, the urgency is quite strong when when I have low self-esteem. It's like, I need to get this done yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. My thing is like everything's not good enough. It's not just like, you're not good enough in relationships. It can be like you're not good enough at work and you're not good enough to your friends, and it can be like one tiny little thing that trips you up that you would definitely just normally shrug off. But if you're having low self-esteem, it can really affect you, you know? Or you can think a lot about it. Like, for example, like if I made a mistake at work or something, and normally I'd be like, well, I am human. We do make mistakes. It's okay. But then when you're in a moment of low self-esteem, you're like, oh my God, I can't even do my job. I need to quit and, you know, just lie in a little ball on the floor for the rest of my life. That's how it makes you feel, you know? And, I think there's part of me that knows that that's negative thinking and it's not correct thinking, you know, but it doesn't stop those thoughts from happening. Like I guess it's about addressing those thoughts and going, that's because you've got low self-esteem at the minute.
Yeah. So do we have ideas for getting out of this?
Well, I guess it's all the stuff that you would normally do to take care of yourself. Which is such an annoying answer.
I hate that answer.
No, but
that's bullshit. Can I not pay somebody to give me self-esteem?
I know, exactly, yeah. But like when I've been reading about it and things, like it does just say you need to take care of yourself until you feel better. Like it's just about time. So like meditation and yoga, sort of journaling, like and one thing at a time. So celebrating the little wins. So going like, I've got up and brushed my teeth today and, you know, like got dressed and felt happy about the way that I looked when in the mirror, you know, and that is like a massive achievement and celebrating that. And then if you do start celebrating those things, like then that becomes every day. And you move on to the next thing afterwards. I think that's how you build. Yeah, I think that's how you build it back up again. But it can be so hard when you're in it.
Oh, definitely. Because I guess it's not. Is it related to depression?
I think so. Yeah, I think people who are depressed have low self-esteem. I mean, probably not always. But
the two, I guess, kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Or I guess depression. I once read it described in the Upward Spiral, a really great book about depression, and he described it as just kind of not just flatlining, like not really feeling anything. I don't really care about anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas I think probably self-esteem might be more related to anxiety.
True.
Because that's more of I just feel
terrible everything.
about myself, but you might still get the highs with lows.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So you are feeling things, but maybe more of the shit things.
Yeah, it's a really tough one, and I think comes naturally at the end of any sort of breakup. You know what, like, so on a couple of the other podcasts we've talked about there being a bit of a crisis of identity at the end of a relationship and wondering who you are outside of that relationship. And I think naturally with that comes like moments where you're like, perhaps I'm not as great as I thought I was, you know, and that gives you low self-esteem.
Definitely. It's that not being enough thing. Like we, both of us, you know, you were told I don't want to live with you anymore.
I know, yeah. And for that to not have it was bound to have a knock-on effect, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like as much, you can self-talk your way all the way to the bank. Like it's him, not me. But there's still going to be something in there that's going, I wasn't enough.
Should have done something different, yeah. I guess the surprise to me is, because like I knew that I was going to struggle coming out of the relationship with how I felt about myself in relationships. But I think what's come as the surprise is how much it's affected me in other things as well. So like, I went on holiday recently and one of my friends got mildly annoyed at me, which was bound to happen when there was 5 of us living in a very small space for the length of time that we were. Yeah. But like, I took it so badly. I was just like, oh my God, I'm the worst person in the absolute world.
People can't live with me.
Yeah. Nobody can stand to be around me and I need to leave the holiday. So I know, which is quite sad, isn't it? Because I know that that's not the case.
It isn't the case.
No.
What was the first thing I said to you this morning when I picked you up?
I can't remember.
It was along the lines of, I'm so glad that you're doing this with me.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You did say that. That was nice. Yeah. And I do know deep down that I'm not a terrible person, but it sneaks into the other parts of your life. And I think in order to address that, you have to just take care of yourself till it goes away. Yeah.
My thing that I'm noticing though with you is that you're an introvert.
I am.
And you're like introverting to the max.
I am doing that.
I'm like, please come and see me.
I know.
And do things, and you're like, no.
No, I am.
No, I
doing
will not do that.
Hey, I've got plans tonight.
Oh, and you're so excited about them.
Oh, no, you're right.
Do you think that, I know introverts, yes, they need to be at home, but I'm pretty sure they shouldn't be at home all the time on their own. So do you think you do need to do a bit more of making yourself do stuff?
Yeah, because you need the little wins, and you can't have little wins at home by yourself, really, can you? I mean, I guess you can. So like I'm doing a lot of reading and things, and like that's probably just distracting me. Actually, I don't know whether that's necessarily a good thing, but
no, I think sitting and doing stuff that you genuinely enjoy doing is really important.
Yeah,
but my version of what you're doing is I'm out all the time.
Yeah. Oh, well, and
so over the summer I was like going through a traumatic thing with one of my kids, and so whenever I was on my own, I was like, I cannot be on my own in the house.
Yeah.
So I literally was like pounding the pavements, meeting loads of people, getting in the sea.
Yeah, and
it can be too much.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm doing, now that I'm having something I'm struggling with, I'm doing my introverted thing, which is to stay in all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? I guess we probably need to, like you needed to go easy on yourself a little bit and stay in more, and I probably need to spend some more time with some people.
Yeah.
Because it definitely does help.
Yeah, it does. And also, you know, if I'm out all the time, you're in all the time, are we still doing the self-care bit?
Yeah. Probably not, because it's like it's like a crutch, isn't it? You know, just leaning on.
Distract myself.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Josie the other day.
Oh yes, Josie,
who's been on the podcast 3 times.
Lovely.
Episodes 18 and 55 were particularly excellent ones.
Good.
But she was she's got a new coach, and she was telling me that. Like a nice way to look at the week ahead and to say, right, what would a good week for me look like?
Yeah.
And try and map them out. Like, these things have to happen. So for her, she has to meal prep.
Right.
So she spent Saturday getting all her meals ready for the week, and then had a plan for like towards the end of the week when she'd run out. And she said that one change made a huge difference to her whole week of feeling like she's got her shit together.
Yeah.
And obviously for her, nutrition's a massive thing. So that might not be as important, but equally, you know, if you're busy, you're working, you've got other demands on your time from family and friends and kids or whatever, making sure that you've got some meals prepped.
Yeah.
Might be like a real act of self-care.
Absolutely.
Like my version of that would be to be obsessive about it.
Yeah.
And map it out to like the nth degree, and then that becomes oppressive. But, so you've got to work on a version like what would make this week easier.
Yeah. I know, and putting some prep in place because you're having a hard time. That's a really good idea.
I like that. And I was trying to think what mine would be. I would say having a couple of workouts and doing some yoga.
Yeah, that would be mine as well, actually. Planning to go to like 2 yoga classes would make my week a lot better.
Yeah, because moving has a really big impact, I think, on just shifting crap energy.
Definitely.
When I saw you on Saturday after our little yoga session on the Friday night, you were like, I feel so much better for that.
I do. I always feel better after it.
Yeah.
And I'm not making enough time for it at the minute, actually. I need to find another class. So that'll help me with my self-esteem. It will. I know it will.
Definitely.
Yeah, good idea, Josie.
Well done, Josie. So yeah, just mapping out a few things that at the end of the week you can say, this has been a good week because I've done these things. And sticking to it.
Yeah, there's that.
I am like the most amazing manipulator of my own mind.
Yeah, me too.
So good at it. I could literally come up with a reason for anything.
Yeah, me too. It's
great,
incredible.
Isn't it? So I'll be like, right, these are the things that I must do to make sure I've had a good week. Get to yoga and I'll be like, I'm too busy. I've got to go get the kids. I've got to do this, got to do that.
Loads of more important stuff.
So making sure that you prioritise. It doesn't have to be loads of things.
No, it doesn't.
And especially going back to what I was saying about my therapist and moving from theory A to theory B, it's actually the baby steps that are important.
Yeah.
And you could even just go down to like just having a checklist for a day.
Yeah.
Which I think is where I was in the summer. I was like, I want to do 10,000 steps. I want to get in the sea. Everything else is a bonus.
Yeah. And then when you've done those things, it gives you a sense of achievement, which then, in turn, improves your self-esteem.
Yeah. Yes, it was a bit distracting, and yes, I was addicted and obsessed. But equally...
it's kind of part of your personality, though.
So, but equally, at least it was a healthy thing, and I was walking and, you know, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, getting sunshine on your skin. That's something in the Upward Spiral book. One of the chapters is talking about getting out and making sure that you're outside for a portion of the day.
I think that's something I need to do more of. Like, I don't necessarily have to be around people if I don't want, but I need to just get out because you do feel better.
Yeah, so my version of alone time is to be outside or sitting in a coffee shop on my own. But there's still people around me. Yeah. Like, I need them around me. Otherwise, I'm like, oh, yeah. So I've been left alone to die with bagels.
Oh, bagels.
Oh, bagels. I love them. So I sent you this the other day and we're both kind of mulling over whether we like it or not.
Oh, this bloody thing.
And it was, do these 5 things after 7 p.m. and your life will never be the same.
Yeah.
So number 1 is reflect.
That's important. Some time to reflect on the day.
I don't do that.
No, I don't do that either. My friend Christian, he's big on that. Reflecting on the day.
See, I've heard a lot about obviously doing your gratitudes, and that's a big AA thing as well. Like in the 7 steps, it's all about gratitude and taking time to notice what you've actually achieved and go, pat on the back.
I suppose that is important.
Disconnecting.
Putting your phone down. I do like that.
Do you do that?
No. I should.
Oh my God, are these things going to change our lives?
No.
We've been slagging them off and now we're like, I'm doing it tonight. Disconnecting. I feel like I do all my catching up after 7 p.m.
I can't bear doing anything at all after 7 p.m. Like, I'm not interested. But I could do some of this stuff on the morning, definitely.
You can't disconnect in the morning.
You could if you wanted to.
You're already disconnected. Just don't reconnect.
Yeah. I had a period when I was living with my mum where I put my phone in the cupboard above her oven because I just didn't want to look at it, and it just lived there for like a few days.
Wow.
I felt much better afterwards.
There is a lot to be said for that because I notice when I'm doing it, because often it'll be like, right, take Nancy up to bed at 6:30, try and get her asleep for 7. Often it's not until 7:30. Then I've got like 15 minutes to tidy the kitchen, then it's on to the next kid. Read to him, and then before I know it, it's 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, I'll just catch up on Instagram, and I'll just do this, that and the other, and I'll probably still need to do a post.
Yeah, just leave it till tomorrow.
Oh, it's too fast. When you actually go, do you know what? I'm going to put my phone into sleep mode and read my book, because you can't read your Kindle on your phone
without looking at all the notifications.
Because your notifications will come up. So you have to put it into sleep mode and say, right, that's it now. It's very difficult.
It is very difficult, it is. Yeah, it is.
But as soon as you do it, there's this like release of,
yeah,
I don't have to be keeping up with Mrs. Smith over there and all the stuff she's doing that she probably did with the team.
You know, I love that about when we record a podcast. It's like, oh, lovely, I've just had 40 minutes where I haven't looked at my phone at all. Very nice. Yeah.
Okay, the next one is plan for tomorrow.
Yeah, not into that.
Don't want to plan.
No, I don't want to. Well, I don't want to do it after 7 p.m. Oh. Like you'd already got a plan for the next day at some point. Have a quick look in the diary, see what's on, but I don't want to plan for it after 7 p.m. though.
No. I think it might do me good to look at what's on, because every morning I wake up and I go,
yeah.
what am I meant to be doing today?
Yeah, that's not a good feeling. No.
It's because it's really early.
Yeah.
So maybe a little glance.
Yeah, okay, a little glance I'll allow.
Breathe.
Breathe, yes, that's good, important. We do like breathing.
So for a little while, I was Jambo had given me Jambo of podcast fame number XYZ. Mm-hmm. He'd given me some acupuncture homework to do, so I wasn't getting to do it until I was in bed at like 9 p.m. But the nice thing was, it just helps you zone out.
Yeah.
What's the word? Like you just tap out and
disconnect. Yeah.
Disconnect and breathe, and that was really nice. Although often I'd be scrolling at the same time.
No, that's terrible. That is why you ended up with loads of bruises all over your face.
They've gone, it's fine.
They have gone.
But yeah, I can't imagine I can be asked to do that at 7 p.m.
I actually often put a yoga nidra on a night to go to sleep to, and that always has you do some breathing, at least at the beginning. And I do sleep better when I do that. So that's nice. Like just nice. So it's like it's not yoga. You don't have to move your body. It's just like a meditation.
Yeah. They sort of talk you down, don't they?
It's like a body scan.
Yeah.
With like an intention at the beginning. And I've always slept better and feel better when I do that before I go to bed. So maybe that's the one thing that I'll allow after 7 p.m.
Oh, it says read as the other one.
Read. Well, definitely into that as well. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we'll have these points, but also that's a lot to expect of yourself.
That's 5 whole things.
5 whole things. Yeah, no, I'm not into it.
I suppose, like, one of them is not doing something.
Yeah.
Disconnecting. Mm-hmm. To not being on your phone or not being online.
I know, but we are attached to them, aren't we? So it would be a conscious effort to put your phone down after 7 p.m.
But maybe that's what we've got to do now.
Yeah, maybe.
We're in a new world with a self-esteem pandemic.
Yeah.
Probably related to our little friends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe you're right.
Okay, so it was reflect, disconnect, plan for tomorrow, breathe, read.
I'll do some of those. I'll meet you halfway.
Nice. I was going to sing then, but I refrained.
Good.
But as a joke from me, I was like, these are things you shouldn't do after 7 p.m.
Oh, yeah. Let's have Hannah's list of things you shouldn't do after 7 p.m.
Text your ex.
Yeah, definitely. Don't do that.
Shouldn't anyway. Eat bagels.
Probably not after 7 p.m. It's a big, heavy, stodgy thing, a bagel, isn't it? Yeah. But I'm definitely still going to do it.
Oh, me too. So, I'm going to tell you a little story here about Katie. On Sunday, when I got home, she was like, did you find your treat? And I was like, what? Because I come in the back door and you posted it through the front. And I got there and she'd sent a little parcel through my letterbox. No one's ever posted a bagel, by the way.
No, it was quite difficult.
So I opened this parcel and it's got 4 bagels and a massive cookie that looks more like a scone.
It was, yeah. Which was to celebrate Hannah being sober for 6 years.
Yay! My first ever soberversary gift. So thanks, Katie.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
I ate a bagel and the cookie and I had weird nightmares all night.
You're welcome.
What the fuck was in that cookie? It was really
special.
Delicious.
Yeah, it's from a bakery called Pia's in North Shields that I really love.
Oh, it was really yummy, but I would recommend don't eat those after 7 p.m.
Yeah, they've got some sort of oniony powder on top that's like
or maybe it was
amazing.
Onion powder. I wondered if it was the cookie.
Could be the cookie.
Because it was like a lot of chocolate.
It was.
Scrolling TikTok. You definitely shouldn't do that. Like Instagram's one thing, but TikTok's like a blast of the senses.
Well,
And it's got scary things that might turn up in your feed.
Yeah. As an 80-year-old woman, I don't use TikTok. That's not a problem for me.
Well, I don't really, because I got freaked out.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing it, but occasionally we'll put stuff on, won't we?
That's high on our list of things not to do after 7 p.m.
I've put do anything that isn't horizontal.
Yep. Yeah.
Don't do that.
No.
Unless it's going to toast a bagel. No, you're not meant to be in bagels.
Meant to be doing
that's
bagels,
right. And then I said read alien porn, but actually it's quite fun.
Yeah, and so can you just recap the full list for me, please?
Absolutely. It is, okay, don't text your ex, eat bagels, scroll TikTok, do anything that isn't horizontal, read alien porn. But I actually disagree with that last one. I'm going to tell you a book to read.
Okay. Because, see, when I look at that list, I think that's a list of things that you like to do after 7 p.m.
Yeah, but I've got to stop doing it, right?
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah. You're right. We're getting an alien porn recommendation. That's what we're waiting for here.
Yes. I can't remember what it is called because it's gone from my thing, but it's something, it's Barbarian Ice Planet or something.
We'll link to it in the show notes.
By Ruby Dixon. It was very entertaining.
You can't hear this, but I'm making like a mildly disgusted face.
Oh, it was quite nice. It was like a sexy version of Beauty and the Beast.
But they were aliens.
He's an alien, she's a girl.
Right.
He's a big blue alien.
Interplanetary.
It was quite sweet. I liked it. But sexy.
What's this podcast about again?
Self-esteem.
Oh, yeah.
Read something you enjoy.
Yeah, okay.
And if you enjoy alien porn, crack on.
Yeah. Good advice. Thanks, Anne.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, I think something else with self-esteem is distracting. I mean, I know we revert back to this quite a bit on this podcast, but sitting with your feelings is a massive part of it. Mm-hmm. And maybe you do just sit there and cry and go, I'm a fuck up and all of that stuff. You kind of need to get that out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to live somewhere in you. Mm-hmm. It's an energy.
Yeah.
So if you're just pretending and carrying on and being like, everything's fine, we're going to crack on, it's getting stuck somewhere.
Well, that's exactly what I did before I went on holiday. Like, I was like, everything's fine, I'm going to be okay. I was not okay.
No.
Like, that's what happens when you ignore it.
And then you need someone like me to come and do body work on you.
Yeah.
And I have to release it all.
Yeah.
It's not great.
No.
It's the worst way. No, it's really good. It's an interesting experience, but yeah, I do think sitting with stuff when you're feeling in a certain way, you've got to let it out. Mm-hmm. And like I say, if you make plans, don't then talk yourself out of them.
Yeah.
You've got to commit.
I know,
which
because
I am not good at, but
yeah, because you feel better afterwards. You always do.
Mm-hmm. If you've gone like, this is my perfect week, and it has these things in it, don't talk yourself out of doing them.
Yeah,
because you will. Your brain will go. You don't need to do this. You'll feel better if you don't. You'll feel better if you eat this bagel. You'll feel better if you lie in bed.
Yeah, and if I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm too tired to go to yoga. I can't do it. Like, I don't have the energy. I'll feel better if I don't because I'm too tired already. And that is like, I've never been to a yoga class and been like, that was too exhausting. I wish I didn't do it. Like, that's not what yoga is. So.
No, you always feel better afterwards.
Yeah.
It's the same with getting in the sea. Like, you never regret a dip. It doesn't matter how cold it is.
Yeah.
Like, yesterday it was pissing, freezing.
Yeah.
But I connected with friends, got the cold water vibe and feeling, did some walking. You know, there was nothing bad about that situation.
Yeah, good.
And I'd had some terrible news, Katie.
Oh no, what's the matter?
One of our passports only had 2 months left on it, so we can't go on holiday. So as of this recording, it would have been tomorrow.
Aww.
So we were meant to be going to Mallorca, and I had I just hadn't checked.
Yeah.
Just assumed it was fine.
That could happen to anybody, though.
I know. But the good thing is that I think it was a good test of where my self-esteem is right now.
Yeah.
So I had the cry, I had the panicky, like, what an absolute fuck up. I can't believe I've done this.
Yeah.
You're so wasteful and lazy. All of that stuff. To then quite quickly be like, it's all right.
Yeah.
I've got fucking loads of things going on.
Yeah. That's when you know you're feeling okay.
Yeah. And in the past, so once I did a speed awareness course, accidentally didn't sign in properly. And then discovered about half an hour later while I was sitting there waiting for this course to start that I hadn't clicked the button and I couldn't join it.
Right.
And I was like, it's going to affect my insurance. I'm going to get points on my license. And I had a full-blown panic attack for like the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Completely knocked me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When actually the next day I just called them and said I couldn't get in. And they were like, that's fine, you can do the next one.
Yeah. I know. But we catastrophize. That's what we do when we're not feeling great.
Like maybe like a year and a half ago, that's how I responded to fucking something up.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was able to go, okay, that's not ideal.
Yeah.
But there's a lot going on. I'm only human and it is okay. And I'm in a very fortunate position in that I could find stuff for us to do and afford to get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great.
So checking my privileges there, I was able to go, you've got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, yeah.
And I told my kids and they were okay.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
You know, all they really want to do is go away with me, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not in the sun.
Aww.
Yes, I'm going to have to cook and find food. And, you know, in my head I was like, all inclusive. It was just like a Billy Basic package. But I didn't care because it had a pool, the sun, and all inclusive.
Yeah. And then it would have been a break for you as well, which it's not going to be now, but that's not the priority. The priority is making sure the kids have had a holiday. Yeah.
So it's not perfect, but we've come up with a solution. They're okay. I don't need to beat myself up.
No, not at all. Mm-hmm. That's great. I'm really pleased that that's the reaction that you've had to that.
Yeah, I was interested to see it. And obviously I am still pissed off at myself and I do want to learn lessons because it is hugely wasteful. But equally, a friend of mine is now going to go on that holiday.
Yeah, good.
And it was like a really lovely thing to be able to be like, you can have that.
Yeah.
And go and get a rest yourself. So, yeah, hopefully lessons learned.
Yeah. I know, but that could have happened to anybody.
And it has. Like, loads of people reached out on Instagram going, yeah, that's happened to us. Not ideal, but... It was a nice test of my self-esteem to go, I can actually, like I have moved on enough now.
Yes. I can deal with things like this.
I can deal with it. It's not perfect, but it's okay.
Yeah, good.
So, yeah. And I think all of that has come from just taking action. And there'll be, and it's not linear. Some days you feel like shit, other days you don't.
Yeah.
Depends where you are in your cycle.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
If this had been last week and I was ovulating,
I might have had a meltdown.
Completely different response.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, maiden.
I know. Never mind her.
She just wants someone to come and rescue me.
Oh, no.
Never mind. It's fine. I rescued myself.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. I think that's sort of all I really have to say.
Yeah, so... I guess I'll keep you guys up to date. Like, I'm okay, don't worry. I'm hoping that my self-esteem will improve soon. But I think that even the fact that I've noticed that it's affecting things and, like, that I'm feeling a bit low at the minute is good progress because would have just swept that under the rug and tried to get on with things before.
Yeah, and you're noticing when and how it's affecting you.
Yeah, exactly.
Be like, it's almost like you're observing your emotions rather than... being in it as much, which I find helpful to look at it that way around.
Definitely.
Like, oh, I feel like this on those days and that.
Isn't that interesting?
Triggered this. So I've got a friend who always says never waste a trigger. Like, why am I triggered? Like, what is it about this situation that's pissing me off specifically? And understanding ourselves I personally think, can't do any harm ever.
I agree.
And builds self-esteem, because you can be like, yeah, I'm a bit messy and I'm a bit this, that and the other, and forgetful, and don't check all the boxes, tick all the whatever it is, cross all the T's. But I've got other redeeming qualities.
Yeah, exactly. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I hope that's been slightly helpful.
I think so, yeah. I always like to chat it through with you and all of the people that listen to this.
If you have any thoughts for Katie, and
thanks.
or you relate hard on any of these issues and self-esteem, I think especially post-breakup, I just remember feeling like the slightest mistake was just evidence that I am terrible.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm in at the minute. And I know it's going to pass. And maybe I'll, read some alien porn and I'll feel better about it.
I can't guarantee that, but it will be entertaining.
Okay, great.
Oh, well, I love you lots. And I really
love
appreciate you being here and sharing all of that with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me share.
You are welcome. Bye.
Bye now.
All right then, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time for another episode of Happily Ever After with me, Hannah Harvey. It would be wonderful if you could leave a review and subscribe. And of course, if you have a friend who might enjoy this episode, please do pass it on. For anything else, you can get in touch with me either through Instagram @mumsdays or my website mumsdays.com.